into a space where beauty meets authenticity and transformation is not just a possibility, but a promise. I'm absolutely thrilled to introduce you to someone truly special, Dr. Rukmini Vinaya Rednam, the compassionate force behind the countless remarkable transformations in the vibrant city of Houston, Texas. Picture this: every curve, every contour crafted with care and expertise, not just by a board-certified plastic surgeon, but your very own cheerleader for self-discovery and confidence. Get ready to embark on a journey where we explore the art of science of feeling your very best self. This isn't just a podcast. It's your cozy corner of empowerment and inspiration. So pull up a chair, pour yourself a cup of kindness, and let's dive into the Confidence Doc podcast with Dr. Rukmini Vinaya Rednam.
Hi, and welcome to the Confidence Doc podcast. I'm Dr. Rednam. I'm a board-certified plastic surgeon in the Houston area with My Houston Surgeons. Today, we have a very special guest. Her name is Jeannie, and she is an esthetician. And I'll share a little bit later about what Jeannie personally did for me. So, Jeannie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, Jeannie, we've had an esthetician on before, but every esthetician is unique and everybody has different areas that they specialize in. So I'd like to just start off by you telling us a little bit about your story. How did you come to this career?
So how I started coming this career is actually being in the industry ever since I was 16. I'm in the industry for 34 years and plus. Pretty much I've done everything from makeup to skin. So starting the PMU journey, I went through skin and then I went through makeup and thought that one day I want to incorporate the two together so that we can help everyone understand and become a better person, making them beautiful and feeling confident about themselves.
So when you first started, down your pathway, you said you started when you were 16.
Yes.
What kind of pathway did you take from 16 to kind of getting to where you are now?
I took a lot of training. I went to beauty school when I was 16. My mom, of course, was in the beauty industry, and she always pushed me to, be a better me. At that age, we were very poor growing up, and I really didn't have the opportunity to go get education. So I went to beauty school and I went from there.
And then right now, what would you say the majority of your current practice is?
Microblading, nano, I do mostly permanent makeup.
And so that's an interesting area, right? I think that even permanent makeup has changed over time. I think initially a lot of people, if you were to tell them about permanent makeup, they'd be like, oh, I knew this lady who had it and it was blue and it looks so strange. What would you say, how has permanent makeup changed from when women first started getting it?
It has evolved so much. The technique is so different. Everything is done very natural. The healing process is also different. It's not like it used to be back in the days where everything looks like a Sharpie and not dimensional. Now with nano and microblading, it's just very realistic and beautiful as it healed over time.
And as someone who's seen Jeannie's results, I have to tell our listeners, you would never know. You would just think someone was born that way.
Yes.
And that's what's so beautiful about it is because it's just almost like how hair transplants have changed over time, where it used to be you could tell someone had a hair transplant and then it was like, oh, they just have this beautiful head of hair. And I think that aesthetics in general has changed that way, right? Everybody
Right.
wants to look like they were born with it. It's not like, oh, I had work done.
Right. You don't want people to know you had it done. You just want them to look at it and you're like, wow, you look nice and fresh. What is it that you had done? Right.
Do you see, what kind of age group of people do you see?
I feel like all age group. I have a lot of young, and also I have mostly like my mature clients, 50 and up, basically.
And why do you think that is? That you don't necessarily see younger patients who sometimes come for these.
I feel like the young girls have hair, they have eyebrows, so they really don't need it. As we age, we go through hormone changes and we have the hair loss and our eyes become weak and we can't see. So, of course, the permanent makeup comes in handy. You wake up, you don't have to worry about it anymore.
That's true. It's true. Also, the 50 and up generation overplucked quite a bit, right? Like the pencil thin eyebrows were very in at
Yes,
that point, and I think we've moved back to like, actually fuller eyebrows look very pretty.
yes, it does. It brings back your youth. I feel like it just restore your youth. Something simple as getting your eyebrows done.
And the techniques have changed a lot too. I know when I first met you, you were explaining a lot about like how even like the tattooing techniques have changed. So, what do you think is one of the keys with what you do to get that natural result?
Also trying to do light work, very light-handed, working my way up, starting off light, and as they come back to get more work done, you can always add to make the brow look darker and fuller, but keeping everything nice and light and natural.
And one thing that I want to share with everyone is that I have vitiligo, and I is something that had kind of bugged me for a while. Is that part of my lip, my natural lip, is much darker, and then where I lost my pigment, it was just a very stark contrast. So I went to see Jeannie, and she treated my lips. Can you kind of explain like what you did to neutralize them?
Yes, so lip neutralization pretty much comes in either two or three part. You might need a second to third session. What I did for Dr. Rednam is I went over with the orange pigment. Orange pigment will neutralize the purple and dark undertone, making the vitiligo nice and bright and light. Not necessarily change it into like a different color, but just to neutralize and soften it up a bit.
And I mean, really, it's the same principles that we use with makeup, right? Like, I have naturally darker circles under my eyes,
Yes,
and I use a
yes.
peach color to like neutralize that before I put on my makeup. So I think it's really, you have to have a very good understanding of how colors mix.
Exactly. I feel like over the years with me being a makeup artist, it really is easy for me to help my client because I do know colors and being an esthetician as well. The two together really help me to balance my work and to give a really nice result for my client.
And one thing that I will tell y'all is I'd heard I was so hesitant to do this for a long time because I'd heard how painful it was. The average person who goes to get any sort of tattooing on their lips will tell me I was in tears, painful, and I can be honest that like I really had little to no discomfort.
And that takes a lot of training because there's different artists that train different technique. And what I've learned over the years, just being very light-handed, not too deep and to hurt the client doesn't necessarily give you a good outcome. Just working light and airy.
What are some things that you're excited about in your field? Like things that you think are going to be kind of up and coming new areas?
I feel like scar revision, camouflaging, stretch marks, that's up and coming right now, and I'm really excited about getting into that soon.
Have you done some stretch marks? Because I know that is definitely something things that people are often really like. How do I improve this? And there's not a great way.
Yeah, this is a little tricky. Again, it comes with color theory, and you really have to know your skin and your touch on different skin type. I am practicing. I took a class, so I'm so particular about my work that I do want to become the best, and I wanted to practice a lot more before I, you know, do it for my clients.
Well, and of course, like that's wonderful. And I think that, at the end of the day, even though there are some non surgical type treatments for stretch marks, none of them 100% take it away. So
Right.
sometimes that's where, especially plastic surgery and aesthetics, like, combine with a lot of things that you as an esthetician, especially doing permanent makeup, it's like where you might be able to improve it and then kind of complete it with really good camouflage.
Exactly, and that's the thing too. Being an esthetician, I, pretty much know how to help and treat client with their skin texture. But I thought, just a tiny bit, a little bit more finished in makeup, and I feel like the camouflage would definitely help cover up and make it perfect.
So, what are some other things that you do as an esthetician?
I do microneedling, I facial, hydrofacial, chemical peels, eyeliner, tattoo, lips. That's about it.
Oh, that's a lot of stuff.
Yes.
What are if somebody was interested, right, and they think they're considering this, what would make somebody a kind of a good candidate for permanent makeup?
I feel like everybody is a good candidate for permanent makeup, but mostly your clients with thinning hair,
Hmm.
oily, dry skin. Everybody's a good candidate for permanent makeup.
And what kind of upkeep does it require? So let's say you get your eyebrows done. Like, how often do you have to upkeep it so that it looks fresh?
So that really varies from skin type. Most of my clients do come in about a year to refresh, getting like a little bit of a touch up to freshen up the color and giving it a nice color boost. But there are some that do come about every 3 to 5 years. It's just that, their skin holds the color well. It's really hard to
So
tell.
it's like a lot of tattoos. You just kind of have to see how your skin handles it and ages.
Exactly.
And then what do you generally tell people for their final results? So, obviously you're going to have one result right afterwards, you're going to be swollen, but where would you really consider, okay, this is your final result? Like how long afterwards?
I would say give it about 6 weeks for your final results. Yes. And then that will you will need like a second touch up and then you'll be done. Yes.
So, and then how long is, so do you usually say 6 weeks and then you're ready for a touch up or wait longer before that?
So 6 weeks for a touch up. The longer you wait, the color will disappear. And not everybody requires a touch up. It's mostly like your oily skin or your porous skin, texture skin. If you have dry skin, smooth skin, most of the drier skin client don't really need a touch up.
So we're moving into wintertime now. So do you have like maybe like your top 5 tips for people for their to really take care of their skin? Excuse me. Top 5 tips for people to really take care of their skin in the wintertime as an esthetician. Like, what would you say? These are 5 things you definitely need to consider doing.
So my 5 tip would never use hot water on your face. As cold as it gets, I would always use cold water to wash or rinse my face. Um, Exfoliate once a week in the wintertime. Always wear sunscreen and use a lot of hydration and drink a lot of water.
I think number 5 is one that people really just don't think about. You think about all these all these products, all these things, and like one of the most simple things is just to drink water so your cells are plump.
Yes.
And so why no hot water?
Because I feel like hot water, it does clean your face very well and it takes off your makeup well, but it's stripping the oil off your face. And so your face end up getting dry and chapped. So cold water helps to um, also shrinks your pore. And, you don't need to clean your face too much unless you're wearing a lot of makeup. And you do cool water with like an oil cleanser, but I wouldn't use hot water. I've never used hot water on my face.
Well, that makes sense, and it's pretty refreshing to have a nice cold. I would say, what are some of your favorite? Now, every esthetician I've talked to has like their go-to products, right? Like, I know we all have different skin types, but what are some of your favorite products over the years that you're like, I have like stayed the test of time, that you're like, these are fabulous products?
I would say I love a good retin-A, tretinoin, um, hyaluronic acid, and of course my sunscreen. I love the Elta MD, and I also love the Image SPF.
I'm a big fan of all of those products. I also love Images, like they have that like a little bit tinted lip balm
Yes,
that's like super silky and really nice.
yes,
But yes, everybody needs to be wearing SPF, and I think that that's a thing that a lot of people overlook.
yes, for sure.
Jeannie, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us today. If somebody is interested in reaching out or finding you, what's the best way for them to do that?
On my Instagram, there's my information. I have my website, my phone number, email. You can look for me on there or at my.
And what is your Instagram handle?
It's JN Beauty Artistry.
Awesome. And y'all, as a client of Jeannie's, I can tell you she has this amazing bedside manner, and I'm so happy with my results. I may end up going back and doing a little bit more.
Oh,
But it really I like it was such a great experience. And when you have an experience like that, like, that she's a special person. And so I think I'm always about supporting other amazing women who are doing really wonderful things in aesthetics.
thank you so much, Dr. Renham. I'm so honored for having me be a part of your show. I'm truly thankful. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being on here, and thank you all for listening to this episode of The Confidence Stock, and we will talk to you guys next time.
As we wrap up another episode of The Confidence Stock, I want to extend our heartfelt thank you for being a part of our community. If today's conversation resonated with you, remember that Dr. Rednam and her team are here to support you on your journey to self-confidence and beauty. Your story is unique, and it's our privilege to help you create the masterpiece that is your life. If you'd like to book a consultation with Dr. Rednam, you can visit her webpage at drrukminirednam.com. Fill out a contact form, and one of her coordinators will get with you accordingly.